So what do you guys think? What's your opinion about what's out there? I mean, around us, you know?
I got
Far
cows
away.
and shit like that around me.
You think it's just terrain, endless forever?
Nope, we have air pressure, so it doesn't go on forever unless there's uh, a million of these places like us, and we're all underneath the same thing or in the same place. That's the only way it could go on forever in your mind.
Because I see this life as as I think it's the creator's experiment. So I think it's something to do with this place that we call Earth. So I'm not sure. So that's why I don't tend to believe it goes on forever.
I say it's like a horse race, and then once the race is over, they clean up the track and they straighten it all out. That's why they flood this place a bunch of times, because there's like something going on and they're betting on it.
Oh, what about the rising sea level?
Oh, that's not true.
You know, well, you know the Black
That's not
Sea,
true,
for
though.
example.
Yeah, it's not true.
It's not
Yeah, how are
true.
you going to prove? You have to prove that, and you haven't even proven that to yourself. So you're just believing here. Now we don't accept that what they tell us. Difficult to validate.
There is proof of a massive flood. It's not accepted, but there is proof.
Everybody accepts there's a flood. They're digging buildings out still. How could there not have been a flood?
I'm gonna send you a video about this flood.
Yeah, you're talking about rising sea level, you said. I don't accept that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we don't have that, that's for sure.
I mean, I don't know what to ask you actually. Look in the chat. This is about the flood thing. Very interesting, I promise you. But this is not to do with rising sea level. I feel like I want to ask you something, but I don't know what.
Have you seen all the pictures where they show the sea level at a certain location in like the early 1900s and then recently? And it looks exactly the same. There's a lot of comparison photos like that. But there are also some places that seem like they're sinking a little bit as well.
Excuse me for eating. Today at work was out of the ordinary day, let's say. So now I'm coping with some KFC, which I never do, but
Where are you? Where are you in the world? Europe? Middle East?
yeah, Europe.
Europe. Okay.
Yeah. Don't eat fast food, by the way. It's very bad, trust me.
You can't say anything if you're eating KFC about health advice.
Well,
I don't think there's been a time where I ate KFC and then felt really good about myself afterward. I don't know if that's ever happened.
Yeah, that's
so that tastes so freaking good, but then the aftermath.
But I never eat KFC. This was an exception.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I used to eat a lot of fast food, and I lost a lot of weight, and that's why I know I had some issues. But
Mark J just posted a cool image, which I'm gonna pinch.
Yeah, I see. No, it's like the Black Sea. If you look at it, you can see it had an original shape where it was deeper. You can clearly see.
It's not an ocean, is it?
It's not an ocean, but it's connected.
Okay, no, it's not. It's not an ocean, is it?
No.
Right.
Do you believe in asteroids? That some asteroids hit
No.
the Earth sometimes.
No.
Not in the mainstream explanation for what they are and where they come from and that kind of thing. Definitely.
Yeah, and then you got your comets and your meteorites. I've never
Whatever-
touched one of those. No,
Whatever they're
don't
called,
have
I don't
any.
know.
I have no acceptance of any of that stuff at all at this point. None,
Yeah.
zero, and it doesn't prove the shape of the Earth, by the way.
Just rocks falling from the sky. I've seen one video of that.
No, I don't accept that rocks are falling from the sky. I don't accept that at all. I think they're man-made events. That's my feeling. I don't believe that the Creator created the Earth.
Saw that
And it
movie.
rolls.
Yeah, there's no
Little.
such thing as sky rocks falling.
Yeah, it's just no
Okay, what
way,
about
Jose, man.
that video, the Russian video, where the guy...
Yeah, it's a Russian.
It's-
I know the one you're talking about. Again, it's just fakery. That's what that is. It's fraudulent. Or they could have put up a weapon and it exploded. That's all that was. It's just very clever. Hollywood.
Exactly, Jin. Well, yeah, not even that necessarily. I can't remember the exact details, but it was found out later on that they were testing some kind of new type of weapon or something like that, something along those lines.
Yeah, it
Just
did
around
look-
the time that
In
happened.
the Tunguska, where it landed, it does look like a nuclear bomb. But
Or just a bomb of some kind or something like that.
not
yeah.
nuclear, but some kind of
You know
bomb.
what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
and it had that blast. That's why it leveled the land where they fired it off at. Simple, man.
But I'm asking because so I'm convinced there was what's the word? Huge cataclysm. There was a huge flood that they keep talking about in many cultures, and I'm trying to understand what caused it. And there is evidence of that in Africa and in Middle East. But so I don't know if there was like a comet or something that hit in the
No.
Mediterranean Sea.
No, it was done on purpose.
It was something else that it could have been.
No, it was done on
that-
purpose. Yeah, it was done on purpose. And they did, and it happened so quickly. That's how everything, lots of things turned into stone that were actually alive.
Back then, how intentionally? With what?
Yeah, you keep the mud temperature the same as the air temperature for about a year, and everything underneath it'll start turning into stone because they'll just start turning the minerals. They'll start turning into stone.
Okay, but what about the flood? The water flood? I mean, sorry, but how does this connect with that?
I don't think anyone knows for sure.
Then it's unflooded, and then everybody starts digging out those buildings again. Then they move into them and say, "Look, it was founded in 1853."
Okay, another thing that I think might have happened is when the the Gibraltar Strait, when Spain, what we call Spain, right, and north of Morocco split because they used to be together because continent split. When they split, the water from the Atlantic Ocean started going inside Mediterranean Sea, which Mediterranean Sea used to be a lot smaller in the area where it's visibly deeper and darker on the map. So when this water started coming in, I think this is what caused this massive flood in north of Africa and Middle East. That's why they talk about in the Bible also, and in Islam and other stories, other cultures. I think that's probably what happened.
Well,
Yeah, but
okay, so if you have cultures all over the earth, describing the same event, then it cannot be local. It is the entire Earth that was flooded. And that's what we have as evidence that the flood was worldwide. So what causes that? I don't know. The texts give stories about it. It's up to you whether or not you think they're plausible. But I mean, as far as the Bible is concerned, it says the fountains of the great deep burst forth and the windows of heaven opened, meaning that you had water coming in from both the bottom and the top, filling up the contained environment. And then the waters receded, meaning at some point somebody must have pulled the plug, it drained out, and now we have the sea level that we have today.
Interesting. The places where I hear being talked about the most is from Islam and Christianity, from these areas where I think this event took place. But because it happened here and it was so devastating, I'm sure the story will have spread throughout the world. Because
I'm not talking about the story. I'm talking about the evidence. The evidence is that the entire Earth was covered with a lot of water, and that a lot of silt and a lot of material and a lot of sand and a lot of trenches were dug, a lot of rain fell, and it was a lot of water, and that's everywhere, all over the Earth.
Interesting. I have seen a video where there were what are they called? These shells, I think they're called, from the ocean, from snails. Yeah,
Yep.
From snails on top of a mountain.
Yes, and I've seen this with my own eyes. So I've been at an elevation of somewhere around 8,000 feet, and up on the top of a mountain, I found these seashells for myself.
It could just be that these rocks from the mountain were at sea level a long time ago. But
Well, if the sea level was higher, that's fine, but that means that water was at least at 8,000 feet.
No, I mean that the mountain was smaller to the point where there was no mountain. Like that.
Okay, yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, I'm not going to say that's not possible, but either way, that mountain was covered with water at some point.
But then there are some these seashells, snail shells, whatever. Some of them are inside rocks. So if it takes so much for a mountain to rise up, then I guess by that time these shells, I guess they wouldn't just remain on the surface. They would just like fall, going, all over the place under the rocks, stuff like that. I'm not sure. So yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, I was elk hunting in Colorado and I found these seashells. So it's interesting, could the mountain itself have been at a lower elevation at one time? Sure, that's possible. But no matter what, it was covered with water. So whether the water was 8,000 feet high or the mountain was 8,000 feet lower or whatever you want to call it, this is a worldwide event.
Have you seen the place where they think that they found Noah's Ark?
Yeah, in the mountains of Ararat, whatever, which I think today is like a modern day Constantinople or Istanbul, or kind of in that area, or Nepal, kind of. So
no, it's in Turkey, I think, or Syria or Turkey.
Okay. Well, whatever they think they found, it'd be fascinating to see what it is they think they found.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, it's in Turkey, Mount Ararat. But in the beginning, and always, for me, this seemed weird and ridiculous. But I just heard that apparently they scanned the area, and the scan looks like it has some type of like iron and materials inside it.
Well, that's probably not Noah's Ark then, because Noah was only working with wood, as far as we know.
But honestly, to me, this doesn't look like Noah's Ark. I mean, it just looks like rocks, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's probably just rocks.
Probably a ship. Probably a petrified ship. Yeah, could be. Not an ark. Could be a petrified ship.
You're saying that wood can become petrified? I didn't know about that.
Everything can become petrified.
From what?
I told you how you do it. Go look up how to petrify something, and you'll see. You put it in mud for, I think it's 86 degrees, and air temperature above it needs to be 86 degrees, and it needs to be that way for, I don't know, 6 months. And that's how they turned a tank into stone. There was a tank that got stuck in the mud. I forget where year. Anyway, they went back to get it. It was just a rock in the shape of a tank.
Oh yeah, petrified wood. I heard of that.
Yeah, that's what the NASA astronauts gifted
I know.
as yeah, the moon rock to the Netherlands. It turned out to be petrified wood.
And the guy said it's not it's not a rock from the moon, right?
That's right.
And then they were like, "Oh, okay, never mind this guy then. Don't listen to him." No, I mean, I'm open to believe that the Earth is flat. It could be flat. Just the fact that people are interested in this subject, to me already tells me there's a huge possibility. But I'm open to believe that the Earth is flat. But I've always, not always, but since before, even before this being interested in this subject, I've already found out that the moon landing was fake.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people that believe that the Earth's a globe know that the moon landing was fake, right? It's not necessarily a flat Earth proof or anything like that. But when we go out and actually test for curvature and don't find any over huge distances, then the Earth can't possibly be a globe. That's what's been done. It's been validated that there's no curvature over large bodies of water, like 40 kilometer distances, for example, that would have to have over 400 foot of curvature. Right? There's no curvature
hold on.
at all.
I have a screenshot here. I think I deleted it. It was from a Facebook reel from that guy, I don't know, Sterling, whatever his name is. And he posted some pictures where you could like see a curve. There's like a line of these tall electricity towers going above the sea or ocean. And you could see like them like forming like a curvature.
Yeah,
these towers.
That's just an atmospheric effect that can happen sometimes. Okay, we've got footage on different days of that same place with the same power lines where we can zoom in all the way across and see that they're completely flat, and we can actually see the buildings 30 miles away on the other side of the lake. It's called Lake Pontchartrain. Okay, that what we're seeing in that picture is called an inferior mirage. It causes things to look like they're doing exactly what you're seeing in that image. It's just a rare atmospheric effect that can happen, and we can replicate the same thing on a flat floor inside a house. Okay, I could show you a demonstration where you see the exact same thing.
Please show me.
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now. Actually, just give me a second. I'll be like, 30 seconds. I'll have it ready. So what he does in this one, it's just done inside on his flat floor in his house. and he puts some blocks. He lines up some blocks across the floor. Just a second. All right, here it is. So he lines up some blocks across the floor, and he puts the camera down close to the surface of the floor. Okay, and then all he does is manipulate the temperatures in the room, the temperature and the humidity. And then all of a sudden, it looks like the row of blocks starts to curve, just like you see in that Lake Pontchartrain image. Right.
Did you post something?
Yeah, I'm just about to paste it now.
Okay.
Just a second. Okay, so this person does hundreds of these at-home tests. Right, it's called a YouTube channel called Sky Free. Really good channel. Okay, and what you'll see is that he set up some blocks across the floor. And on the other side of the floor as well, he puts a red light as well. Okay, so before he manipulates the temperature in the room, you can see the red light. And then once he manipulates the temperature, you'll see the red light actually looks like it disappears behind an apparent horizon that just gets created from him manipulating the temperature gradient in the room. It looks the same as what we see in the Pontchartrain image. Now, also, if you have a closer look at that Lake Pontchartrain image where it looks like they're curving, you'll see obvious signs of miraging, right? You can see a mirroring effect, and I'll show you an example of that right now, like a close-up. And also, there wouldn't be that much curvature like that even if the Earth were a globe, right? That would mean that it would be like a tiny Earth.
That's a good argument, actually.
Yeah. You would never see curvature like that. Like that would just be like a little tiny mini globe. Look, here's another example someone did just on their flat floor with cans, just showing it's the same type of effect. And here's another image that shows a inferior mirage over a flat bridge. And it looks exactly the same as what we see in the Lake Pontchartrain.
Right, okay.
Okay, the next one that I'm posting, this is a side view of the same thing. The same lake, the same thing. Now, when we look at it from the side, when we can't have that miraging effect from the side. So we look at it from the side and we see a perfectly straight line.
Planet Louisiana, yeah.
Yep. So here, the side view one just kills it completely. But here's another one. Okay, so here's a close up. It's like zoomed in, and you can see the mirroring effect. It's a miraging effect. Now I'll show you the same thing happening on a flat bridge. And Drace just posted one as well where it shows like on a normal day where you don't have that mirage taking place. We can see just straight across like normal. And then the one I posted underneath, what you'll notice is when the camera gets pushed down closer to the ground, right, it's looking through like a gradient of heat. And you have a look at the left railing on the bridge. As he puts the camera down lower to the ground, you'll see that the left railing on the bridge goes from looking straight.
It's about heat?
Yeah, it's about like the way that the light travels back to the optic. So when you have really hot air down lower and cooler air above it, the light will always deviate towards the cooler air because cooler air is more dense. Okay, so it will deviate a little bit towards the cooler air because it has a higher refractive index, and it's going to make things in the distance look like they're sinking down, like they're displaced downward.
This sounds more relaxing. That if the Earth is flat, it just sounds more relaxing. You know?
Yeah, it's definitely a globe spinning at millions of miles per hour in all these different directions through space, or a nice stationary Earth. Much more relaxing, indeed. Great point.
And it sounds more realistic, actually.
Yeah, it matches exactly. Like what they've done is they've replaced everyone's common sense with a bunch of nonsense. Like we experience that water, a large body of water needs to have a container and that it's flat on the surface when it's at rest. Whereas they've convinced people that it just looks flat, but really it's curving. And they tell people
No,
that
actually, just now,
Mhm.
right at this second, it's the first time I understand this point about the water. That, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't just stay like that, like stick. But then I don't know.
Well, this is what we can do, and this is what we have done. We can go test for the curvature. Now, if you have let's say we have a 10-mile lake. Okay, it's 10 miles across the lake, and I'm standing on one side of the lake, and you're standing on the other side of the lake, right? This is just a hypothetical. Okay, I shouldn't be able to zoom in across that lake and see you on the other side, because if we calculate how much curvature there should be over that distance, there's about 22 meters of curvature over that distance if the Earth were a globe. Okay, that's 66 feet is about 22 meters approximately, something like that. So I shouldn't be able to zoom in. Say I'm 6 foot tall, you're 6 foot tall. I zoom in across the lake. I shouldn't be able to see you unless you were over 66 foot tall. Like, let's say you were 70 foot tall. I would just be able to see your head or something like that, like a little, right? That's like more than a
What's the
six-story
size of
building.
the island?
Well, no island, just a lake, like a 10-mile lake, just
10
with
mile.
water. I'm on one side of the lake. You're 10 miles away on the other side of the lake, just standing on the shoreline. And the only thing that's in between us is water.
Do you know about this guy from Hawaii? This flat earther.
I've seen some
Films,
observations from Hawaii where he can see things that he shouldn't be able to see if the Earth were a globe from a long distance.
Yeah, he films the Oahu Island. You know that
Yeah.
video?
Yeah, I've seen the video, yep. I think Jin CBR1 shares that video.
I don't know if
quite
he
a
was
lot.
zooming in. I don't remember. If I haven't seen his other videos. But he should make a video, because that's the perfect location. He should buy a better camera and make a video zooming in. Just curious to see. I'm curious to see what kind of, like, how like I just want to see something at sea level on the other island, like a human or something, or a store or something like that,
Yeah, I'll show you. I can show you one right now.
Sure.
Right, I'll show you a good observation that's done over the ocean. Okay, so just a second. Okay, so the person that's doing this observation is a very smart guy. His name's Dr. John D, and he has a PhD in spectrometry. Okay, it's got another name as well, spectrophotometry or something like that. Anyway, he went out originally to try to debunk flat Earth by doing long-distance observations and laser tests.
I love those.
And he actually became a flat earther in the process because he was able to see huge distances. Now, this is one of his tests that he did. So just a second, I'll just bring it up.
Him.
Yeah, definitely. Because he's a professional when it comes to optics and things like that. So anyway.
I'm a truther, man. I'm a truther. That's the thing about me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what our channel's all about, is just, truth. Showing people, hey, have a look at this information and use your own logic and common sense and analyze it critically and come to your own conclusions. Okay, so here is an observation. Okay, so he set his camera up on the shoreline at the beach. Right, this is in the United Kingdom on a very, very nice, clear and calm day. And he sets his camera up at 1 meter high on a tripod.
How far away are these things?
Okay, so these things are windmills, like a windmill farm. It's called Rampion Windmill Farm.
Mm-hmm.
And the closest windmill is 8 miles away. and the furthest one on the right-hand side is 11.2 miles away.
What is this thing in the back? Looks like a building or
That's
boat.
a ship. It's a boat. Yeah, there's a boat out there. And he tracks the boat as well on the shipping radar, on the ship tracking radar. And that boat's about 14 miles away, 12 point something nautical miles. So that's about 14, just over 14 miles away. But anyway, concentrate on
That ship is 40 miles away?
14 miles away. So I'll show you some information about the ship. Yeah, we can focus on the ship actually. It's 12.1 nautical miles, which is 13.9 miles, and it's actually called the Shetland Trader. So he looked up the ship. So I'll just post a few screenshots of the marine tracking, just so you can see the path of the ship and where it was. Okay, so the height of the ship above the water is approximately 7.2 meters. Here's some screenshots.
Can you repeat the last thing? Sorry.
Yeah, so the height of the ship, the deck of the ship, is 7.2 meters above the surface of the water.
How many meters?
7.2.
So the top of the ship is 72 meters.
7.2.
7.2 meters, okay.
Yep. Okay, so let's have a look at how much it should be hidden by behind the curvature of the Earth. Okay, so here's a screenshot from an Earth curvature calculator. Right, so I'll just explain what it says on the Earth curvature calculator. Okay, so it says eye height, 1 meter. So that's the height from the camera. Okay, and the target distance is 22.3 kilometers, which is 13.9 miles.
Just tell me in kilometers, please.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool. So the camera height's 1 meter high.
Yeah.
The boat's 22 kilometers away.
So that the camera is 1 meter plus the height of the person, or just that 1 meter?
No. Just he's got it on a tripod. Yeah, he's got it on a tripod, and it's 1 meter above the.
So 1 meter from sea level. Okay.
That's right. Can you see the screenshot that I put in the side chat? It says Earth curvature calculator. Yeah. So on the right-hand side is the measurements on the calculation with metric.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it says the target hidden height should be 27 meters. Okay, so the boat would have to be 28 meters tall, and then you would just be able to see the top 1 meter of the boat sticking out from behind the horizon.
How tall is the entire boat?
The entire boat is about 7.6. Can you see the graphic? Right, there's a picture of the boat there. I'll just post a couple of pictures of the boat. Some more information about the boat. Yeah, this is the boat. It's called the Shetland Trader.
23 feet.
Yeah, it's got it in meters as well.
So 27 meters is this is the height.
That's how much. No, 27 meters is how much that boat should be hidden behind the curvature of the Earth. Right, so you shouldn't be able to see the you shouldn't be able to see the boat at all. If the boat was like 30 meters high, then you would just be able to see the little top of the boat, right? Like the top couple of meters of the boat sticking out over the horizon. But we can see the whole boat, basically. It's a little bit blurry, but we can see the whole boat.
Yeah, what about this reflection thing this guy is saying?
Refraction. Yeah, we can.
Refraction.
Refraction. Okay, so we have an extremely clear day, and we have minimal refraction on that day because we can see everything perfectly clear. So we know we don't have any crazy effects going on. Okay, so
what is this refraction thing?
Refraction is when the light deviates a little bit when you have a temperature gradient.
And it just conveniently makes things look like it's
so when you've got like people that try to debate against flat Earth, they'll just kind of say refraction makes the Earth look flat, basically.
Because someone said the same thing for the Oahu Island, which is 90 miles away.
Yeah,
from the
it's
other.
the only thing they can say. So they think that they've got like a magic word that they can say, which most of them don't really understand much about. Okay, and they think that because they say the word refraction, therefore they say that the light's bending, and that's what just makes the Earth look flat in all of these observations. Like anyone can go and do these observations. Okay, and every time you do them, you can see so much further than you would be able to see on a globe. And some of these people that try to debate against flat Earth, like for a hobby or whatever they're doing it for, they don't have an explanation for it, so they have to come up with something. So they'll say that the way that the light's bending is just making all of the water look flat. They'll say, this is what they're saying. Really, that boat isn't there. Okay, really, that boat's hidden behind the curvature of the Earth, and it's not visible. It's geometrically obstructed behind the curvature of the Earth. But because of refraction, it just makes everything look completely flat, and all of a sudden you can see the boat. So if you were to like shoot that boat with a sniper rifle or something like that, right? They say that the bullet wouldn't even hit the boat; it would go straight through it because it's not really there. They say it's just an illusion that we can see the boat. It's the dumbest thing. It really is.
Oh yeah, by the way. Oh yeah. I was gonna look up how far away can snipers shoot. But yeah,
that was just a hypothetical. That was just a hypothetical. It's like 4 miles is the longest shot. It wasn't a literal statement. It was just an imaginary. Like if you
but maybe
shot it with a missile. Let's say you used a cannon or something that could shoot that far, a ballistic missile. They say that it would just go straight through the boat because that boat's not really there. They say really that boat's hidden behind the curvature of the Earth. Okay, but this is the problem. Okay.
They say that the bullet is going above the curvature if you also shoot that far, or yeah, like a rocket. If someone shot a rocket, they're going to say that the rocket goes.
This is what they're saying. This is just just a hypothetical example. Let's say somehow you were able to shoot a laser or something, whatever, a missile, a laser, at the boat that we can clearly see. They're saying that boat's not really there. It's just an illusion. Really, that boat's not there at all. It's just refracted up, and it's not really there. It's just an illusion.
So what about an actual laser experiment? I heard there was one or something.
Yeah, sure. So
do you have some proof of that?
Yeah, we've got tons of laser experiments that have been done, but I'll show you.
Show me the furthest one.
Yeah, I'll show you one of the furthest ones right now. So just give me a second, or give me like 15 seconds. I just got to pull up the information about it. So I'll tell you a little bit about it while I'm just finding this. Okay, so this is a group called FE Corps, and it stands for Field Engineers Corps. It's a bunch of field engineers from Europe, and they got together and they spent about 1,000 hours and about $30,000 building an extremely high-tech, high-powered laser beam. Okay, extremely high-powered laser. So, and they did a test. Well, they did a whole range of tests, but the longest test they did was 40 kilometers over a lake in Europe. All right, so just a second. I'll just pull up the test. Okay, so what they did was they set the laser up at 1.5 meters height above the surface of the lake. And then they had a target 40 kilometers away on the other side of the lake that was also 1.5 meters height. Okay, now if the Earth's a globe, you shouldn't be able to shoot that laser across the lake and hit the target, because there would be a huge amount of Earth curvature over that distance. Right, just a second, I'll just pull up the test. Okay, so they recorded all of this. So we've got a 1-hour video where they go over all 5 of the laser tests they did.
How far away is the target?
40 kilometers away.
Okay.
Just a second.
And they're saying that how fast they're saying you should stop seeing something on the other side after the curvature. How short? Just 4 miles or when?
Well, what they're doing is they're setting up the laser level. So that means that if you picture a ball, okay, picture a globe, and then the laser sitting on top of the globe, and the laser's level, like it's horizontal, and it's going to shoot the laser beam straight out. Okay, so the ground underneath, right?
After
the
how many miles the globals are saying this should happen? After how many miles?
Okay, so this is how it should work. If you had a target that was about 90 meters high, and on the other side of the lake, 90 meters high, then the laser would hit the target 90 meters up in the air if the Earth was a globe. Because
so
there should be about
at the tallest point.
No, so if okay, hold on a second. I've got some diagrams and stuff, so I've just pulled up the test here. So it's easier if I explain it with.
No, like if you have a target that's 1 meter tall.
Yep.
After how many miles do you stop seeing this target completely? If the Earth was a globe, according to what they're saying.
Oh, okay. It's 1.5 meters high, so you would stop seeing it at about 2.5 miles, about 3.5 kilometers away, something like that.
Only 3 kilometers, you stop seeing it completely?
Yeah, that's where the horizon would be. That's where, and you wouldn't be able to see anything beyond the horizon. Yep.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So if you're 6 foot tall, this is what they say. If you're 6 foot tall,
anybody knows this is not true. Anybody knows this is not true.
Yeah, it's exactly. It just exists in mathematical form, right? In reality, it doesn't work because we can shoot a laser over 40 kilometers and hit the target.
Okay, that's
all right. So here's the test. Yeah, got it here. All right, I'll just post it. It's probably something you can go over in more detail later on because it's an hour-long video. And there's also a Google Drive link, and they have a 180-page PDF document where they go over all of the details for the test. But they hit the target on all 5 of the tests. Okay,
I remember this video, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah. So there's 90 meters of missing curvature. I'll just put some diagrams, just so you can. The diagrams have the numbers written down.
Tell me in this video where I should click to see the test or the light hitting a target. What minute?
Well, they do 5 different tests, so it depends which test you want to look at. I recommend probably
all of them.
Watching the whole. Yeah. I probably recommend watching all of them. But it's this is one of the more technical tests because this is a team of engineers and they get into extreme technical detail about everything because they want to cover all bases, if you know what I mean. There's other laser tests that are more simple to follow along with if it's the first one that you're going to be looking at.
Well, they're explaining a lot of stuff, but I want to see the result because obviously not gonna watch 1 hour right now.
Yeah, the result is that they hit their target at 1.5 meter height, 40 kilometers away. If the Earth were a globe, that target should have been hidden behind 90 meters.
But why does it bend like that at minute 13:25? At 13:25, it rotates up in the air. Why? What is this?
Let me have a look.
13:24. Oh, I see. It's like a reflection.
I think that they're trying to I think they're testing the equipment and that kind of thing, making sure they're leveling it properly.
No, it's something to do with the water. Look at the other stuff in the picture. All the lights are like a mirror. I don't know. It's like a, I don't know, water reflection, I guess, or something.
Yeah, what he's showing there is.
Oh yeah, they're pointing in the water.
The laser is being pointed at an inferior mirage, and when it hits the mirage, the laser is deflected upwards, and you see a reflection of the laser.
Oh yeah, I can see now in the night picture. Yeah, I can see now. Okay. So this here at 13:25, 13:31. This is the result right here. This is when they're hitting the target.
No, this is a 50-minute video. The test at 13 minutes was them just doing a test, setting it up, and the conditions for the test weren't good that day because there was an inferior mirage.
Okay.
So they continue the thing, and that's why it takes 50 minutes, because it's they documented the whole process.
You guys really want me to watch the whole video, huh?
You don't have to do it right now. You can do it some other time.
So yeah, this is kind of what it comes down to. There's tons and tons of these laser tests that people have done in all different weather conditions, different locations, all over the Earth. Okay, and they're hitting their target consistently, where there should be hundreds of feet of curvature blocking the laser from hitting the target in all of these, but the laser's always hitting the target. Then when we're doing the observations, we shouldn't be able to see what we're seeing in the distance because it should be hidden behind the horizon. It should be blocked by the curvature of the Earth, but it isn't. Okay, and the globe earthers don't have any tests that show the opposite of that.
Yeah, it's also not what we want. You said earlier before DJ or whatever. I don't remember who was talking before that. Do we want you to watch this video? No, I don't want or need you to do anything. This is about what do you want? Will this video land for you? Will these observations and these tests work? If not, just tell us up front. Say, hey guys, it doesn't matter what's shown in this video. It won't change my mind either way. It's not evidence. It's completely irrelevant. So we know to move on to another observation, another measurement, another practical demonstration. Rather than just like barking up the wrong tree to get that squirrel, let's just move on because there's something else might land.
So Elio, I've got one more really good long distance observation, which also has a laser test in it, if you want me to present it quickly. This is probably one of my favorite ones.
Just give me a second. I'm watching the moment where they say they hit the target.
Yeah, sure, I'll go for it, man.
But I'm not understanding what they're showing here.
Yeah, that's why you'd have to sit down and watch the whole thing from start to finish, so you know what point they're up to, and they so they can explain what they're doing step by step.
There should just be one person at the end filming the impact. You know?
There is. But it is one of the more technical laser tests, so it's one of those ones that you have to sort of sit down and pay a lot of attention to the whole video, because it's like step by step. And they're doing 5 different laser tests in the video, so you got to make sure you're understanding which one they're doing at which point. That's why I was suggesting a different one. I probably should have shown you a different one. I can show you a different one that's much easier to follow along with. It's way less technical. They're just shooting a laser over a 21-mile lake and hitting the target. Simple as that.
Let's see.
Right, they also do a really good observation as well. Okay, so have a look in the side chat. It's just uploading. Okay, so this is the Great Salt Lake in Utah. Okay, and what he's doing is he's zooming across a 21-mile section of the lake. Sorry, 33-kilometer section of the lake. Okay, Logical Observations just posted the full video to it. But don't worry about clicking that just yet, because I'll just show you some screenshots out of the video, some clips out of it. Because it's much easier than watching the whole video. But save the video for later. Okay, this is the camera that he was using here. It's a Nikon P1000. It's one of the most powerful zoom cameras that you can get. Can you see the picture of the camera? Elio.
Picture of the camera, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that camera is set up at 5-foot height, which is 1.5 meters height.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he's going to be zooming across to the other side of the lake. Okay, so here's a picture from like Google Maps, just showing you where he's standing and showing you where he's going to be looking across to. So you can see a yellow line. He's going to be, that camera is right at the top of that yellow line, and he's going to be zooming in to see if he can see the shoreline on the other side of the lake. Okay, he's got a buddy over on the other side of the lake that's taking some footage so we can see what it looks like where he's going to be zooming into. Okay, so this is what it looks like 21 miles away over on the other side of the lake. Can you see the picture of the shoreline there?
This is the picture zoomed in?
No. This is his friend that's on the other side of the lake where he's going to be zooming into. I just want to show you what it looks like on the other side of the lake. So when he zooms in, you can see what it looks like over there. Okay, take note of the big giant beach on the other side, and then we can see a big giant white tower in the background. Just take note of that, because
this tower, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the zoom footage. All right, so here's a screenshot of the tower and the beach shoreline from the camera that I posted the picture of. Okay, so this is from 21 miles away, and he did it during the daytime, and then he did it again during the nighttime, because quite often the globe earthers will say, "Oh, you need to repeat these at nighttime where there's less refraction." Okay, so he repeated it at nighttime, and once again you can see that it looks exactly the same. In fact, it's even maybe a little bit more distinct because we've got the lights as a reference. Okay, so just a moment.
And that's how many kilometers?
33.
Wow.
34 kilometers away. So over that distance, there should be 293 foot
I'm gonna
of
save
curvature.
this video.
Yeah, it's a really good video. So over that distance, there should be 100 meters of curvature.
Bro.
All right, now have a look at these pictures. All right, so here's a close-up of the beach and the tower again. Just a second, it's just uploading. Sorry, my internet sucks. Okay, so this is just a close-up of the beach and the shoreline and the tower. Now, this next image is the zoom footage, just a screenshot from the zoom footage. So what you'll notice is that we can see everything pretty much just the same. We can see the bottom of the tower. We can see the shoreline below the bottom of the tower. We can even see the lights reflecting off the surface of the water.
What about the previous image, the one during the daytime? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, the daytime one? That's just a close-up. That's just a close-up.
Okay.
Yes, just so you can see what it looks like from close-up. Okay, so over
From
that
the guy
distance,
who was there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so that beach should be hidden behind 80 meters, just over 80 meters of curvature.
And this last one in the nighttime?
Yeah, that's from where that camera's set up 33 kilometers away.
33 kilometers.
Yep.
And what are these things at the bottom? These are houses or what?
Yeah, it's like a mining
Buildings.
Yeah, it's like a little mining
They're at sea level, yeah.
You know what I mean? No. This isn't at sea level. This is over the Great Salt Lake in Utah.
I mean, yeah, it's.
Oh, it's look.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the tower?
No, the buildings. They're.
Oh, yeah. It's not really buildings. It's kind of like.
They're not on a hill or something.
No, I'll show you exactly what it looks like. I got some more pictures of it here.
No, like I'm saying, like they are down, so it's good.
Yeah, here's a few more pictures.
Yeah.
All right. So this is just some random pictures I found on Google, just so you can see. Oh, Overfences just put the Earth curvature calculator screenshot in the side chat. Eye height level
Honestly,
Overfences. Eye height level. Yeah, you got that right. So the horizon, right? This is what it's really about. So the horizon should be at 4.3 miles away. Sorry, kilometers. That should be the maximum distance that you can see the water. Anything beyond it should just be visible beyond the horizon. You know, if something's hidden behind the horizon, you would just see the horizon, which is the line where the sky and the ground meets, and then the tower, the beach, everything else. The beach should be completely hidden, and you should just be able to see some of the tower sticking out over the top of the horizon. Now, this is how far away the horizon should be, right? I did a diagram, and I drew the black line across it. Okay, so that's at 4.37 kilometers, which is 2.7 miles. Okay, that's where the horizon should be. So that's the maximum distance.
What's this thing in the far left? That's where the buildings are. What?
Of which image are you talking about? Sorry.
This last one.
Oh, the last one.
I don't understand what this line is supposed to mean. I
Oh,
understand where
the
the
black
horizon
line
is, but
the black line. Yeah, so that's where the horizon should be. Okay, so when he's looking out, so hold on a second. I'll just post another.
Oh, I mean, where is he in this picture? Taking.
Oh, he's at the bottom of the yellow line. That's where the camera's set up.
Taking a picture towards
the
in the
yeah,
picture.
towards the other side of the lake. Here we go. Look, this is just to show you.
At the top of the image.
Yeah. Have a look at this one. This one will explain it just fine.
Oh yeah, I understand.
So he's shooting right across that distance, but the horizon, if the Earth's a globe, the horizon should be at 4.3 kilometers away, which is where the black line is.
I mean, even if it was a globe, it's ridiculous that that's where they're saying that the horizon should be. I feel like even if Earth was a globe, the horizon should be like somewhere like, I don't know, 100 kilometers or something.
Most people think that. Yeah, most people don't realize how much curvature there should be over a pretty small distance. Usually when we say that there's 22 meters of curvature over just 10 miles, which is 16 kilometers, sorry. 22 meters of curvature over 16 kilometers, they're like, that can't be right. And then they go look it up and it's like, yep, you can go look it up.
That's what happened to me. That's what happened to me.
Yeah, it happens to everyone. It happened to me too. I was like, that doesn't sound right, you know,
it sounds
because
like low effort, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Low effort.
No, the horizon is it's never at that distance, ever. Like, I've never seen one observation in the last 8 years of looking into this where the horizon's even close to that. We can always see the horizon like at least 5 times or 10 times further away or more than, you know, in this observation, you can't even see a horizon at all over the whole 21-mile lake. It's just flat water over the lake.
Well, I never thought I was gonna become a flat earther.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
thought it's
None of us
ridiculous.
did, bro. Every single one of us thought it was ridiculous.
When it comes to 9/11 or moon landing, from the beginning I said, yeah, this is probably fake. But with flat Earth, it's been years and years of, I thought it's ridiculous. But here we are. But you know, this camera, from this experience, is it like one of the most sophisticated cameras? You know,
It's a Nikon P1000. It's a Nikon P1000. They cost about $1,000, $1,200, and they have 125x optical zoom, which is far beyond what any other consumer grade camera will have. So it can zoom in like really, really, really far.
They should put this camera over the Oahu Island in Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, we have observations from all sorts of different places. We've got hundreds of these observations, and some people, what they do is they upgrade the camera and they fit it with infrared. So that means that it cuts through all of the haze and refraction and things like that, so you can see even further. So people are doing footage with the infrared cameras, and they're able to see even further than without it. And people are taking these types of cameras up on planes, and they're able to see things that are 1,000 miles away, that should be hidden by miles of curvature. There's a guy called Jay Tolan. He takes about $15,000 worth of camera gear up on a plane, and he does observations, and he can see things that you shouldn't be able to see by such a huge amount. It's crazy. And he uses like infrared.
Now I regret that I didn't pay attention when I flew with the airplane. I didn't pay attention to look over the window to notice
Or fly from an airplane too.
Because I remember it goes inside the clouds and then it flies over the clouds. So before it touches the clouds, I should have paid attention to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a ton of flights, and I've done a ton of flights, and you just see a completely flat horizon from any trip that I've ever been on. I've flown over Alaska at 40,000 feet, and you just see a completely flat horizon. Now, that's not proof that the Earth's flat, because apparently, even if it was a globe, you wouldn't see curvature from that height anyway. It just further backs up that we all experience the Earth as a flat plane, right? Even people that believe it's a globe still experience it as flat and stationary. They just believe that it's a globe because that's what they got told while they were growing up. And then they've been shown pictures by NASA and things like that, and they see it in the movies and TV shows and all that sort of thing. So they just kind of have a belief system that the Earth's a globe. It's kind of like a tradition. It gets passed down.
So who's doing this? Is it like an occult or one world government, something?
Well, I think it's kind of like a tradition. It's kind of like information that's passed on as true. And most people are not going out and doing the testing. Most people are just taking it for granted that it's already confirmed. It's already been confirmed in the past sometime that the Earth's a globe. But once you start digging into how the Earth actually is proposed to have been like that it's a globe, you'll start finding it is actually cult leaders, like mystic cult leaders like Pythagoras. Okay, I don't know if you've heard of the cult of Pythagoras, but he's the first person that's credited with saying that the Earth's a globe, right? And he didn't go out and measure the Earth or do any calculations or anything like that. They worshipped spheres. They thought the spheres were the most divine shape and that the Earth must be a sphere because of that reason. So
what about all this so-called science? I mean,
yeah, there isn't any.
Looks like it's
deliberate. It's calculations. It's calculations that are based on assumptions. Like if you go onto Google right now and you type in who first measured the Earth to be a globe, it's going to come up with an ancient Greek guy that they can't even prove existed at all. And there's no writings left at all of him. They'll say that what he did, Eratosthenes, is he calculated the circumference of the Earth by measuring a shadow angle. Okay, he pre-assumed that the Earth's a globe, and then he made a few other assumptions, and he did some calculations based off those assumptions, and he just calculated that the Earth's a globe. And he's the one that's credited with calculating the circumference value of 40,000 kilometers for the globe. But it's a myth, right?
Let me add to it, because it's logically fallacious. It's circular reasoning. Like you said, they pre-assume the Earth is a ball, and the shadows would look like this on a ball, and then the shadows look like this, therefore the Earth is a ball. We still do this today. We have children going through doing this fallacious exercise over and over again. However, the Chinese also did this during the Ming Dynasty, but they started with the assumption if the Earth is flat and the sunlight acts like this, the shadows would look like this. We see the shadows look like this, therefore the Earth is flat. Circular reasoning doesn't become logical regardless of who uses it for whatever purpose.
Wait, this video is interesting. Let's see.
So guys, like basically you think like in the Cold War, the space like war was like fake. It was like just a big
Yeah, it was propaganda put on by NASA. And ironically, 3 months ago, Trump named them a spy agency instead of a space agency now. They have a new classification as an intelligence agency now. Now they're a spy agency. What do you think of that? So all the way back then, they were putting out the propaganda and everybody fell for it. See?
If you look into Project Paperclip, you'll see that America recruited Nazis after the fall of Germany, and most of them went to NASA and the rest to the CIA. The Russians also got their share of Nazis, and those Nazis ended up heading up their fake space program.
I mean, that's what intelligences are. They are just spies. They've always been that way, even in medieval times.
That's what you get. That's what you get for your information nowadays. So you can listen to them, or you can listen to yourself and know the Earth is flat. And since you know it's flat, you'll be able to tell when anybody's lying to you in the future.
But I'm just saying that the country where the intelligences are, their own country calls them intelligence, but for the other countries, they're actually spies or assassins or saboteurs. But my point is, they've always been that way. That's what, yeah. That's what ninjas were. Ninjas were basically just what the CIA is today. Or saboteurs. Every country calls them something else, but it's the same concept.
Yeah, well, I come from Vikings. We didn't have that shit.
Vikings. I'm sure Vikings may have some spies or assassins.
No. Like weak men, no likey. And I come from a country as well that we don't have an army nor a spy agency.
Do you guys believe that the Earth like have an edge?
Wait, what country is
You're
that
extra
doesn't
quiet
have
today,
soldiers?
Yeah, I'm probably not speaking directly into the mic. I'm sorry.
What country doesn't have
I'm from
an
Iceland.
army, bro? Oh, Iceland. Oh, I mean Ireland. Yeah.
Just quickly to respond to the guy that asked about the edge. Yeah, we're not claiming to know the shape of the Earth. We're not claiming an edge. And we absolutely don't claim that the Earth is a flat planet floating around in the heliocentric idea of outer space. Okay, so we're not making claims to whether there would be an edge or not, or anything like that. What we're talking about is when we measure the actual surface of the Earth, and there's no curvature over very vast distances, in where there would have to be curvature if the Earth were a globe.
Oh,
Yeah. It's not like flat is not a shape, it's a descriptive term for a surface, especially in this context. So they tell us that over 70% of the globe is covered in water. Okay, but when we measure the surface of the water over large distances, there's no curvature. And that's repeated over and over again in all different locations, completely validating that there's no curvature present. So if there's no curvature, then you can't have a globe.
okay.
Yeah. And then we've got a ton of tests, laser tests, infrared footage, long distance observations, mirror tests, all sorts of different tests that we're showing people. It's like, hey, check out this information, have a look at the tests. And the good thing is people can go and replicate these tests themselves, so they don't have to have faith or trust or anything like that. It can be something that can be obtained as actual knowledge, like a measurement. You can know for sure that there's no curvature.
I'm grateful for this discussion tonight. I've seen heard very interesting things. Thank you, bro.
Oh, no worries, man. I appreciate
three
having
and 2
someone in
days.
here like that.
It's 3 and 2 days, by the way, DJ.
What's that?
No, a lot of people are like in the position that you're in. When they're shown this information, a lot of people are waking up to the truth, basically.
I mean, for me, like I said, doesn't bother me. Nothing what people think. I mean, it's I have no problem with accepting that it's flat, so don't really care. Like, the thing is, people are just afraid and scared. So I'm not like that, because I'm actually passionate by truth, especially hidden truth.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories. I'm
Yeah,
passionate by.
most people really care what other people think, and that's actually the tactic, or one of the best tactics that they've used against Flat Earth, is not to try to address our actual arguments, but try to make it that it's socially unpopular to believe in this, and that Flat Earthers are just tinfoil hat wearing morons. Okay, so people won't even want to get involved in it because they're scared of being ridiculed.
Yeah, that's what I mean by scared. Yeah, that's
So it's a smart form of propaganda that they actually use to try to keep things like this away from people.
That's why I say that people are afraid.
Yeah,
I'm not afraid. Like all the people can laugh at me and say I'm a flat earther. It really doesn't bother me, you know. It's just zero effect on me.
It's changing a lot. It's changed a lot. Quite often, people are much more like, people have heard about it. A lot of people are much more accepting of it, and people that you wouldn't even know are flat earthers, you'll find out, oh shit, I didn't realize he was a flat earther. And then you mention it, they're like, oh yeah, I know all about that. I've looked into it. But a lot of people don't talk about it, with their friends and family.
Yeah, I think the biggest mistakes people do when they realize this is they get sometimes overzealous with it, and they start trying to push it too hard, and that can push people away. But anything can do that. You get too into veganism, you get too into carnivore, you get too into workout, you get too into chess. Doesn't matter what it is. If you're super passionate about something, and if you don't know how to rein in that passion a little bit so that other people feel comfortable, you can push them away. And
too
Flat
much
Earth can
is
kind of inspire passion in people because there's a lot of stuff to discover. The world opened up, and there's a lot of unknowns that are interesting to look at.
But I've always been what's the word?
Truth seeker?
Maybe outsider, truth seeker for sure, but maybe outsider, the black sheep, you know, like I've always been different than others, not just for the sake of it, but I've noticed, like, you know, when people, I don't know what example to give you. You know, when there's a joke and everyone laughs, but you feel like you want to put a different type of reaction, right, to that joke, like with an emoji reaction, for example. I've always been that way because I like to express myself truly, the way I truly am. I've always been different, and
Yeah, sounds like you don't easily go with the flow and like to find your own path.
yeah.
That's
And
a valuable person to have in society, because otherwise, if everybody were following the same path, everybody would be like a lemming running off a cliff.
I know all the change starts from one person. I am that person. I believe it. I'm not afraid to say, hey guys, this is wrong. And I have done it in real life. In a large social group, I have done it. You know, not afraid to do that. Because I really don't care if people say I'm wrong or I'm weird or crazy. I have no problem. I've been used to that my entire life. It's who I am. You see, this is the type of people who learn about these things, at least at this stage, when it's not mainstream. This subject, for example.
Most people that mock and ridicule flat Earth and defend the globe, they really don't they don't know anything about the globe anyway. They don't know any of the basics, and they don't know the flat Earth arguments. They, in their heads, have pictured a flat disk floating in space, and they think flat earthers are a bunch of crazy people, like I explained before, thinking crazy things that's just propaganda, like Australia doesn't exist and things like that. They think flat earthers actually claim these crazy things, which they don't. And quite often when they come in here to try to debate with us, they get a rude shock because we can expose really quickly that they don't really know anything about the globe, and they don't know anything about our arguments either. So they kind of have no ammunition, and they don't realize that until they've already come in and engaged with us. So then usually they'll turn to like mocking and ridicule, or they'll just run away, fight or flight basically. But yeah, it happens every day in here.
Yeah, time. Excuse me. Time. Time solves everything, and I would say that time is a powerful thing because, for example, you know, like people have believed that the Earth it's a globe their entire life, and when they hear that some people believe it's flat, this concept it's so ridiculous that they find it ridiculous. They find it ridiculous, and so they start to believe these people must be crazy. How can they believe such a ridiculous thing, such a concept that's so hard to imagine, you know? And so that's why they start laughing and stuff like that. I think it's ridiculous. That happened to me as well. But then, you know, after the funny stuff goes away, and it's been 5 years, 7 years since you heard about these things, and then you're like, okay, but these people are still talking. They keep talking about it. They're still going. Okay. So okay, let's hear what they have to say, you know. Like you can laugh about it, but then if people are still talking about it, you know, after a long time, you're like, okay, let's see what they have to say, you know. Like you see people insisting. You're like, hold on. Is there actually something there?
Yeah, it's funny that they do have trouble imagining it, even though it's exactly what they experience every day of their life. Quite often when they come in, they'll say, oh, we're too small to see the curvature of the Earth. because the Earth's so big. And then we'll say, oh, so you experience it as flat then? And they'll be like, oh, no, 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 no. I'm like, but you just said that you're too small to see the curvature of the Earth. So therefore you experience it in your basic reality as flat. And they cannot, their ego or their subconscious or something like that will not let them, even say that it could be flat. Even though they just admitted that by saying that, oh, we're so small and it's so big, so we experience it as flat. And you say, so you experience it as flat. They're like, well, no. It's kind of crazy. And same with the motion of the Earth. Okay, so we'll say, do you experience the Earth as your base reality as motionless? They'll be like, yes, because it's so big and we're so small, we can't feel the motion. So you experience a motionless Earth. No. It's kind of crazy. Like nearly everyone's kind of like that. Everything that we're claiming is exactly what everyone just experiences, right? Water needs a container. It's flat on the surface. The Earth, we experience it as stationary. These kind of things. It's just
they tell you their true experiences, and then you're saying, oh, so that means this thing, and then they're saying, oh, that must imply another globe. So of course, then they become defensive because of fear.
Yeah, definitely. Here's another crazy one. We'll say we see the sun move across the sky. The sun moves across the sky. On a globe, when you're watching a sunset, this is what they're telling you is actually happening. They're saying that that sun's not even moving from your perspective, and you're spinning backwards away from the sun faster than the speed of sound, faster than a 9mm bullet, right? And it just makes it appear like the sun's setting. Whereas the flat earther will just say, yeah, the sun's moving across the sky. They've put everything backwards. Everything that is common sense, they've told you, you cannot trust your senses. You need to trust what we're telling you. And all your senses are wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, this is according to the... Give me a second. According to the globe model, they're saying that there is this gravitational field, or what's it called? This atmosphere, right? And the Earth is spinning fast.
Yep.
And going fast, but somehow the trees and everything are not flying away, or the wind is not pushing them super hard. And they're saying it's because of this atmosphere, which is like a protection field. But if that was the case, I would expect to see some type of like millions of clouds, like levels of clouds, or level of some type of stuff, not necessarily clouds, or something, some type of like roof stuff that would make it seem like there was this atmosphere protection against the wind, the speed of the planet is going in the universe. But if it's flat and the sun is just clear and the clouds are just chilling, right? That makes more sense. Because the planet is not traveling
some days,
super hard. That makes more sense now.
Exactly. It's just we have wind because of pressure systems, because we have temperature differences, and it causes pressure systems. And sometimes we'll have wind going easterly. The next day you might wake up and then the wind's going westerly, and then you might have a southwesterly, and it's just depending on what's happening with the pressure systems. Meanwhile, we can balance rocks. Have you seen those people that balance rocks? They're balancing, like making the craziest rock sculptures by balancing all these rocks on top of each other really high. And meanwhile, they tell us that the globe is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. It's orbiting around the sun at 66,000 miles per hour. It's chasing the sun at 480,000 miles per hour. And that whole system.
How did they even measure these things?
It's all theoretical, conceptual. That's what it is. It's a theoretical concept, a mathematical concept, whatever you want to call it. It exists in like mathematical formulas and things like that, not in reality. There's a ton of assumptions baked in to what they're telling us.
Yeah.
It all starts with the R value, the radius value. It's baked into all of the math behind the globe, and that's the radius value. That's what we can. That's the easiest thing for us to go out and test in reality, because it means that the curvature would have to be there, right? These long distance observations and laser tests, they also debunk gravity, as gravity is explained in the globe model. Okay, because the gravity dictates that that everything is being pulled towards the center of the globe, towards the center of mass. That means that the water would have to be curving at a specific rate for gravity to exist. If the water's not curving, that means that gravity isn't possible, because if gravity is real, it has to be curving at that specific rate. It must be. So everything's going to come back to those prerequisites or those pre-requirements for the Earth to be a globe, which is the curvature. It's the bendy water that they show us in the NASA pictures.
Interesting.
Yeah, it just so happens that the one thing that would like actually confirm all their claims is impossible. Right? It doesn't exist and returns a nil result. And they just conveniently have all these excuses why that is. Right? Giant paper mache made, and you just can just poke holes, it just falls apart.
Would be flat. Are you a Christian, DJ?
I'm not really religious. I don't really follow any particular religions. I do research into Christianity and that kind of thing. My wife's a Christian and my mom's a Christian. But yeah, I'm looking into it. I'm learning about things. That's not something that I really use when I'm talking about like this topic. I'd rather empiricism.
You seem very open-minded.
DJ, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are there any other planets?
Yeah, Earth's, like when you say other planets, you're assuming that the Earth is a planet, and
yeah. So
what
just
we're
wondering, like, is Earth the only one surface like that is flat, or are there any other planets that are also flat, or
like
yeah,
we believe in other planets at all?
Yeah. So this is, let me explain it, because most people, when they hear about flat Earth, their whole life they've been taught this globe model where you have a big giant vacuum of space, and then you've got all of these big round planets and suns and things like that, and that we're on one of those planets. And when they hear about flat Earth, they try to replace the globe planet with a flat disk or something like that. That's not what we claim. We can't try to insert the flat Earth inside the globe model, right? You could probably think of the Earth more like the floor, and then we've got celestial bodies in the sky that we've been fed a big giant story about our whole life, about this light that you can see up here. This is Mars, and it's X distance away, and it's in a vacuum, and it's made out of this and that. And then this other one is Uranus, and on Uranus it rains diamonds and blah, blah, blah. Like they'll tell us a big story about all of the lights that we can see in the sky that move in cycles. Okay, but we can't really confirm any of that. It exists more as a model. Okay, but we all see
telescopes.
Yeah, we can zoom in on them, and what we see, even through the best quality telescopes, let's use Mars as an example, we see a little blurry red, round-looking circle in the sky, but we can't really confirm exactly what medium it's in, what size it is, what it's made out of, etc. We've been fed a story about it, but we can't really confirm the specifics about it. It's going to be something that you're going to have to speculate or make a bunch of assumptions about. So we don't try to explain things that we can't empirically validate. This is the logic that I would use. I would say that if you can measure your floor flat, right, it doesn't matter what's going on above your floor. it's not going to make the floor start to curve. So if we're more about testing the actual surface of the Earth, and then whatever's going on up in the sky that we can't actually empirically get to test, we try not to speculate about it. I mean, it's fun to speculate, but we don't know for sure.
Okay. Then
But you
the
could
other
pretend,
question...
I mean, like, yeah, you could, like, in the heliocentric worldview, where they tell you that it is impossible for things to be flat. That kind of runs in contradiction with their own model, because they say anything is possible. Like, you've got Asgard out there, you got Star Commander, Thor, you got Middle Earth, all these like globalist fan fiction, Terry Pratchett, Discworld. You got Dark City, the movie graphic novel. So for you to say, hey, my understanding of the heliocentric model is that all things must be balls, that's a very poor read and misunderstanding of what they're trying to present.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. The question is, why do they need it? Why do they need like the whole complete lie about the globe and about the round form of the Earth? Why do they need that? What is the purpose of the lies?
I don't think most people are lying, to be honest. I think it's more tradition at this point, or something that's taught at university as fact that doesn't have any empirical evidence behind the foundations of it. Most people that are teaching you that the Earth's a globe, like scientists, professors, that kind of thing, they're just regurgitating the information that they've memorized from the textbooks that they had to memorize at university to get their degrees. And most of them have probably never even questioned that core mathematics and whatnot behind the globe.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is that there were people in space, right? So they're aligned. Everyone who've been in space, they're aligned, right?
So they're lying about that. Then.
No, I knew that the moon landing was fake before I even started learning about flat Earth. It's clearly fake.
Yeah, you kind of know they're lying because they said so. They told you
the guy Bert Sibrel. Bert Sibrel, this is the best guy about the moon landing and all these things.
Bart Sibrel, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Bart Sibrel, an interesting character because he doesn't really like flat earthers. So it's a good source to use because he's not a flat earther. He thinks flat earthers are CIA without exception. He thinks a modern flat earth movement is brought to by the CIA.
Yeah, he thinks that because every people like he's met. How can I say this?
But I mean, we don't need to go into it.
He's frustrated because
he wants
to be taken seriously.
We don't go into that because you don't need flat Earth to discuss how Richard Nixon in the 1960s faked that stuff. That can be fully contained within the globe worldview.
So he believes the Earth is a globe, so he's frustrated because people believe he's a flat earther. That's his frustration.
Right. It's like Ken Hovind. He wants to be taken seriously about his stance on evolution and all those things, right? And then that's why he poo-poos flat Earth as well.
Yeah, there's also a chance he may have been fed poor flat Earth arguments by someone as well, and just got his whole perception of it completely skewed from the start.
Yeah, and that's why he concludes that therefore it must be CIA to mess with him or something.
Well, he might have interacted with some guy who gave him the impression, and that's what he's basing it on. But he's stereotype judging everyone as that. But
yeah,
I mean,
anyway,
I can understand.
He hasn't looked into it.
I can understand. He has a lot of good argumentation and has built a lot of work on debunking the moon landings, and you kind of don't want to taint your legacy if you've done so much work if flat Earth turns out to be wrong. So, like, I understand him not wanting to spend too much work on that and going off onto a tangent into this aspect, and I respect him being in his own field, if you will, of research. I don't want to force anybody to accept the truth. They will just come to it when he finally sees information from a source he'll accept.
Well, that's the thing. All these people that are talking about other conspiracy theories, or people who are talking about anarchy, because I'm into that. All these people, because the subjects they are talking about are already hard to digest or hard to accept or seem controversial, they don't need this flat earth stuff. It's gonna make it even more difficult to get the word across for them. You know, so that's the reason why.
Well, I mean, why not push the boundaries though? Well, why stop at that, right?
Me, for example, I would push the boundaries, but Cyber is, I mean, I guess he's trying to make a living out of this, and it's just in the eyes of the people, this will make him seem ridiculous and stuff like that, because that's people's perception.
That's what I said. He wants to be taken seriously, and generally there's a stigma attached to flat Earth, which involves us just being crazy conspiracy theory. That's just outlandish, right?
He's trying to get the moon landing hoax understood by the general public, and he doesn't want any kind of negative bias to prevent them from being able to see his evidence. So he's trying to present it in the best way possible, kind of like how we kind of like to just talk about flat Earth, so we can present the arguments and just the arguments, and people won't get hung up over their bias of like, I am vegan, or I'm a carnivore, or I'm this, or I'm that. We just want to talk about flat Earth.
Yeah.
Well, we experience something similar within our community, right? Where we have people wanting to talk about ice walls and the outer ponds and that sort of thing, right? And domes and a specific cosmological model, right? And and we're disattached from that to a large degree, right? And that we kind of don't want that stigma attached to us about what we're talking about pure geometry, right? And what can be empirically demonstrated, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't.
It's a similar thing.
Yeah, that's why I don't blame Bart Sabrell for not going into flat Earth. Like, it would be cool if he went into it because he does good research, but I'm fine with him doing the research that we can use.
Yeah, and I think about him is because he's talking about moon landing. The thing is, already when people are saying that the moon landing was fake, other people just automatically assume you're a flat earther. So that's why he had to say, he had like this strong reaction.
Well, they shouldn't do that because people were talking about the moon landing being fake the day it happened. People were rolling their eyes like, this is Richard Nixon. God, what's next? What, really, dude? So they don't need flat. This is it's kind of like a red herring. Because I first found out about it by questioning the Apollo program. I was on the server that had, this is years ago, as a Facebook page about the moon mission being fake. And they started calling me a flat earther, like a flurman, a flat earth vermin, if you question the Apollo program. And eventually, after hanging out on the page long enough, I realized they were a bunch of neo-Nazis. They want to dehumanize anybody who was shit-talking the Apollo program, because in their worldview, they saw the Apollo program as a righteous vindication of World War II Germany. So when you come there and say, hey, I think the Apollo program's fake, what they actually hear is something completely different. That you're shit-talking their perfect world, their utopia.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what people hear when you start talking about we didn't go to the moon. They're not hearing when you say the Earth is flat or we didn't go to the moon. What they're hearing you say is God didn't bless America with a moon mission. That America was, make America great again. That high watermark of American exceptionalism, the Apollo program, that never happened. America was never great. That's what they're actually hearing. They're not listening to the data about where's the telemetry data, where's the blueprints for the lunar rover, all that stuff, all the evidence about how the Apollo program was faked. They're not hearing any of it. It's going right over their head. They just hear you say over and over again that God didn't bless America. That God, America is not the shining beacon on the hill. America is not 60 years ahead of all other nations.
It's more than America. It's the whole world. It's all of humanity took a giant leap for mankind. And that's why it's so personal to all of them, because We're the most advanced right now. We could
Yeah.
go to outer space. Don't take that dream away from me.
Yeah. My question is, where is all this money that NASA is taking? What are they doing with all
Weapons.
this money?
Yeah, that you saw the Apollo program virtually ushered in the Minuteman missile, the intercontinental ballistic missile. That's what it was. The whole kit and caboodle was a weapons program, which you know this because Eisenhower, the guy who signed it into law, NASA signed NASA into law, he says, hey, I tried to stop, I'm paraphrasing, I tried to stop the military industrial complex. I failed. Now it's on you guys to do it. You have to stop the military industrial complex. I failed. Then his vice president, Richard Nixon, runs for president. And for one of the first times only in all of U.S. history, a vice president doesn't endorse his own, or his president doesn't endorse his own vice president. So thank God, Nixon loses to Kennedy. And it prevents what was going to happen. But then Kennedy's assassinated. And Richard Nixon wins anyway. And then you get the Apollo program. And then you get weapons of mass destruction on a global scale. That's where that money went. That money went directly into developing intercontinental ballistic missiles. You know this too because all the countries that boast space programs, all 7 of them, all have exactly the same military capability. Intercontinental missiles. There isn't not one single, it's 1-for-1 correlation. So they're all in on it. They go, well, hey, you can't tell your populace that your space program's fake because I'll tell your populace that it's fake too. They're all in on it. They know that they want this spending, they want this military spending, they want to hide it from their populace, and they all kind of do a wink and a nod behind closed doors and pretend like they're boldly exploring space for the betterment of humanity, and they're not.
Well, it's weird because I remain with the impression that Bart Cyber believed that China's and Russia's, or both, space programs are actually real, unlike the US, or something like that.
Yeah, I really don't know.
He believes.
I stopped watching Bart Sabel when he started weaponizing the YouTube reporting system. It would go through, flat Earth channels and just mass report for copyright infringement. At that point, I checked out. If you're going to weaponize victimhood like that and pretend like, it's nothing. The guy's worthless.
Yeah, that's not well.
Yeah, useless at that point. Like he became the enemy. He thought the CIA would love to shut down flat Earth, and there he is doing CIA's work for them, while claiming we're the ones who are CIA. The guy lost the plot. It's quite embarrassing, but really it goes to show you that we don't need to talk about the moon mission. Let the globalists hash it out. They can sit there and argue about who got to the moon first and whose Sky Daddy blessed which space program. Here in this channel, we talk about the Earth, the surface of the Earth. All the rest of that stuff is peripheral content that really kind of leads to nowhere, like a bridge to nowhere. Because if they faked it or if they didn't fake it, it doesn't change the fact that the Earth is measured, observable, and practically used as flat. Government today could come out and say, we faked it. And give reasons why. Say we're stuck in the Cold War, we had to develop weapons and all of it. Complete like Bill Clinton's book, like in his memoir about one of the things he came the president, and he looked at all the data and the information for the Apollo program, and he was stunned by the lack of content there showing that there was an Apollo program at all. And he said he had a kooky neighbor that, I can't remember the neighbor's name, but he used to talk about that the moon mission was fake. And he's like, what a kook. And he's like, wow, but now as president and having full access to all the classified information, he didn't see anything there that really convinced him it ever happened at all.
Interesting. I'm very curious. I know this is besides the subject, but just yes or no, do you think the 9/11 was a controlled demolition or not?
Yeah, that's another peripheral topic. You don't need flat Earth for that topic. The conspiracy type stuff. There's going to be people there's going to be people who think all kinds of things about it. And it doesn't match. It won't match. You could go down the list of flat earthers and it'll probably match the same swath of anybody. Like if you were to say and just go through a swath of all people, of people in the globe side, or just a general population, and just say, hey, I got some questions about 9/11. That's
no. That's not what I mean. I was just curious if you are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you that it's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant to the topic. It'd be the same thing asking me like, hey, do you believe pineapple belongs on pizza? And I could give you the answer, but it would be the same probative value.
No, I just wanted to, because I sense this feeling that you guys are like me,
Yeah, I would say there's probably nobody like you. You're like unique in the world. You're one of a kind.
It's true. But I guess I was just curious about your guys' way of thinking. If you came to the same conclusions, how similar we are, basically.
Yeah, you got people on the globe side who also think that it was a conspiracy theory. So you don't need that topic for this topic. Yeah. So it doesn't match. It's one of those things where it won't work. You'd be like, you're like, hey, how many people here speak English or something like that? It wouldn't go anywhere. It just doesn't work. That question, that line of questioning doesn't go anywhere. It's like it's either a bridge to nowhere or an abrupt dead end that you have to turn around and go back the way you came. It's like, I wonder how many flat earthers use Discord or something like that. Like, cat and dog people. Complete non sequiturs that don't matter one way or the other. But the only reason why it matters when you start talking about demographics is some odd reason the astronaut corps is 100% Christian conservative, without exception. Every single one of them. So you talk about, shouldn't there be some sort of mix or balance? Like, shouldn't the astronaut corps somewhat match the general demographics of America? Well, no, not at all. What they do, they call it the right stuff. Christian conservatism, in their worldview, NASA's worldview, is how you become the best of the best, the cream of the crop. That's step one. Are you a Christian conservative? If not, well, you don't have the right stuff to be. Your dreams of becoming an astronaut are over before they even started. Now, that's a good probative question. Why? Why is that the case? See, they like to pretend like, oh, flat earthers are all these bigoted, hypocritical, homophobic, whatever Neanderthals. Really? Have you seen the federal government? Have you seen NASA? And you think we're the bigoted, exclusive people? That's really the only way you want to look at this, is you want to find something that's not like the other. So when you look at a flat earther, they're going to be about equal to the general population in all senses, except They kind of know about heliocentric and geocentric and have looked into it. Most people don't. They don't even care. Jay Leno used to do a thing called jaywalking, where he would walk up and ask random people on the street just questions, just basic questions. In one of them, he did like a heliocentric model questionnaire, like how many planets in the solar system. People said everything but 9, like 28, 3, 40, 60. They asked people, what galaxy is Earth in? People wouldn't have no idea. What's a galaxy? An S-phone
I've
galaxy?
heard people say like, Mars?
Yeah, the one was the guy gave him a hint. I'll give you a hint. It's a candy bar. And the dude said Mars. Like a Mars bar. And he's like, well, no. Well, Baby Ruth? Like he started listing every candy bar but the Milky Way. Yeah, it's like they had I could find the video. They had a Jeopardy thing about like a real estate agent, real estate solar system, and they just brought up really basic questions, like simple like questions where like this planet is known for its big red storm or something like that, but it's okay because you can hang out in some 70 different moons. People are like, Mars. They go, nope, no one's got a guess. And everyone's like, nah, I got nothing. And then it's like one of them's like, this planet is icy cold. Make sure you bundle up. And it's funny to say its name. And the dude's like, Earth. Or whatever. I don't remember the exact verbiage. But they went through 5. These are supposed to be double Jeopardy. Like people smart as shit. And they couldn't get even basic sort of comedy heliocentric questions right. And like the guy who won a bunch, I can't think of his name right now, like Pat something or whatever, with a J, Pat Jenkins or whatever his name was. He was the one who was hosting it, and he was giggling as they're getting these questions wrong. And at the end, he's like, "I guess astronomy isn't your guys' strong suit," and they all started giggling. I guess not. So that's the demographic you'd be looking for, is how come the general population has no clue that Earth is a third rock from the sun? That there's 8 or 9 planets, depending on how you classify Pluto. They can't even name the planets in order. They can't tell you how many continents there are, how many oceans there are, what the size of Earth is, what the axial tilt is claimed. They don't know what causes a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse. They don't know what causes moon phases. None of it. They know absolutely nothing about it, but they'll come in here and tell you photographs from space prove the Earth is not a flat. And you ask them, well, sure, well, who took the photo? What year was it? They don't know that either. Like they're arguing from absolute complete ignorance because they saw a YouTube video that said flat earthers are dumb. That's it. That's the whole story. And they get questions in here about like, why would they lie? Is the moon flat too? So we got enough content. Basically, I know it's kind of a ramble. I went on for a little bit there. I got a little long-winded. But the main point is we don't need to go into peripheral topics. There's more than enough content to just stay on Earth, on the surface of the Earth.
Yeah, it's surprising even just how many people think that Katy Perry floated around because she'd escaped the gravitational pull of the Earth.
Yeah, man. They think that they go up and then they pop through like a shield, and then all of a sudden they're in space and they're floating around.
Yeah, I talked to this dude, atheist, who identifies as a Satanist for some reason. Got pissed at me for whatever reason. and started telling me about how things float in space because it's zero gravity. So I'm like, that's interesting. Because I was told they're following the curvature of time and space, but Earth keeps moving out of the way. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's just some dumb flat Earth speech. So I start pulling up citations, multiple back-to-back citations about how under modern understanding of physics, that they're following the trajectory of time and space, link him videos. Then his response was to just start porn bombing my DMs.
Guys, do you think my voice or the way I speak is annoying?
Yeah, it's an irrelevant question to you. That's so subjective that it doesn't matter. So people would say yes and people would say no, and it wouldn't matter.
Maybe there's something I can change, or maybe
no, you don't need to
my
change
accent
anything.
is super annoying. I don't know.
No, you don't need to change anything at all. You're perfectly you.
Okay, thank you.
If somebody has a problem with your voice, good, bad, or otherwise, that's 100% inside themselves. You can't change or affect that. If they try to blame you for that, then they're emotionally dysregulated. You can't be responsible for someone's subjective take about what your voice sounds like. If you want my answer is no, absolutely not.
Interesting things I've learned today. I'm gonna be telling this information to other people as well.
Yeah, my take on that is have them approach you. I've noticed, like in the days of yore, like 2018 time frame, I used to talk to a lot of people, like IRL, and it really went. You never know where someone's at. So what I'd do is like I'd wear like a flat Earth T-shirt. I would have like like a bumper sticker on my car that says "Research Flat Earth." Let them approach you. So then they're ready for the conversation, instead of you just saying, "Hey, have you heard the Earth is flat?" Because you don't know where someone might be in headspace, and some people react very weirdly to this information. Like they might just crack, just completely crack. It's so, like they might really have a lot of ego driven into the world being a globe for some reason. They a lot of people don't explain or take questions on it. My take is that some of them have this idea that their life is so horrible that they think that sooner or later they're going to travel to space and everything's going to get solved. So they could just be right on the edge, and you say, "Hey, have you heard the Earth measures flat because of laser tests?" They won't hear a single word. They'll just hear you say, "I'm here to kill your dreams of a better life." And that's what they'll respond to.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that use caution, use a lot of wisdom and caution. And, it's kind of hard to like drop this topic on people's laps because they're not ready for it. That line from the Matrix. Some of them are so hopelessly plugged in, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to defend the same system that enslaves them. I mean, see the way people react violently over a parking spot for, like holy crap. You see a little league game arguing over some teenage umpire, maybe calling a ball a strike or, calling a ball fall. I mean, just think that's how they act. Because they're on this high caloric, low nutrient diet. Their brain really isn't functioning well. And that's another thing from Richard Nixon, that sugar added to food, the high fructose corn syrup. So you don't know. So I know I'm harping on this, but be cautious. Because you have no idea where somebody's at. And this topic can be very triggering.
Oh, sorry, hot miking.
what you got to do is find a way to flat smack someone. So like my uncle is into the fluoride. So I showed him a video of the astronaut telling kids to swallow their toothpaste. That's all it took. It wasn't like I needed to talk about, NASA bloopers and ISS. Just show them like a random kiddo asking an astronaut on the live stream, how do you brush your teeth in space? And the astronaut's talking about swallow your toothpaste. That's all it took.
Oh wait, they said that.
Oh yeah, totally, dude. Another one I flat smacked because they thought that astronauts are the cream of the crop, the best of the best. Like astronauts are so advanced, multiple, like interdisciplinary doctorate degrees. Like when God made them, God broke the mold. They're one of a kind. And I showed them a video of Don Pettit playing with eggs on the ISS, talking about Angry Birds and all kinds of dumb shit. And it wasn't NASA's YouTube video. It was like someone else had clipped it. Then like my family member said, well, that's a gag. That's not that's not a real astronaut. That's complete garbage. Why would you show me something that's obviously some sort of dumb flat earth skit? So then I'm like, okay, well, sure. Well, here's I pulled up Don Pettit on NASA's website, and I'm like, here you go. Here, this is the same guy. They shifted the goalpost. Okay, well, sure. That looks like him. It's a celebrity impersonator. And I'm like, what the hell? So you're saying that flat earthers can make skits using celebrity impersonators. And they're like, yeah. So by the grace of God, the video is posted on NASA's own website. You could still to this day just go to NASA's official YouTube page, type in Angry Birds in Space, and there's Don Pettit acting like a complete other moron. And that's all it took. Once he saw this supposedly cream of the crop, the spokesman for the astronauts, supposedly the best of the best astronauts, the longest lasting, the longest serving astronaut who's done multiple commands, all of it. When he saw him talk like the guy can barely tie his shoes, that's all it took.
Yeah, so the evidence matters, but also the state of mind of the person receiving the evidence matters also, because if the state of mind is that this is ridiculous and they want to make fun of it, then it's not the right moment to show any evidence.